Welcome back to the 2016 Causeway Scrabble Challenge here in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. My name is Jesse Matthews, flying solo in the studio here briefly, just waiting for Chris May to get back from a brief break. We've got Jesse Day and Nigel Richards on board one. I'm honestly not sure what round this is either, guys. I've been seeing what you've been writing in the chat. I'm just going with the flow. Given the time of day, I'm going to guess it is the second last game of the day, and we do have 10 games scheduled. So after yesterday, 19 games were done, 29 will be done today. So I'm going to assume this is round 28, given that we are on schedule and Michael runs a tight ship. I am going to say this is round 28. So Jesse's got not a bad rack right now, just a few letters that don't quite balance together so well. Otherwise, nothing disastrous by any means. Nigel's got some clunky high counters that don't all get unloaded so easily, although something like fob on his end would be ELVS, and that's not so bad, maybe not ideal, but the other letters counterbalancing it sufficiently enough. The curious thing is going to be how Jesse decides to handle this average rack, more or less. Not ideal, not horrible. Keg being lined up as one of his candidate options. Keeps the two T's, but it also gets rid of the two more problematic consonants out of the four on his rack. It will be tempting to consider something like tech. That's GITE. Not bad, but not so awesome. And there goes Keg, perfectly reasonable. Now with Keg down, Nigel. Let's play a fob, looks pretty straightforward underneath Keg here.
Hi everybody. Sorry about that, Jesse. The walk back from the lift to here was obstructed by an astonishingly large number of school children with suitcases, so it was somewhat unnavigable. And it took me about 3 times longer than usual. I think they've all been at an event in one of the other ballrooms on this level. Anyway, it doesn't look like I've missed all that much, unless that play of Keg was in some way positionally astonishing.
Nope.
Happy days. Nigel plays fob. Looks good, I approve, Nigel.
Jesse's not pulled very well here. He's pulled AAE to his leave of EITT. Meanwhile, Nigel has Vestals on his rack.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, well, I guess a TAE play on row 10 for Jesse is a lot better than nothing. I wonder if there's a way of getting a little bit of a better balance in the leave? Probably not. Oh, yeah, and that's what he goes for pretty quickly. Leaving Nigel with a couple of choices, a horizontal position of Vestals or a vertical one, and well, there's not all that much difference between them really. The vertical one's probably got the edge. Better draw for Jesse. Pantile on the rack. However, homeless, so he's going to want a floater to get a bingo through, and he should get that with the S of Vestals. Yeah, I had overlooked the skeg hook actually. And Nigel, of course, hasn't overlooked it. And that's going to mean that the 3 anagrams of Jesse's rack plus S don't play, which is kind of bad luck. Of course, that's all part of Nigel's play, isn't it? Making the most conservative choice in terms of counterplay. So bad luck, but also Nigel doing what he does, optimising. So this is certainly a frustrating play for Jesse Day.
It's really hard to make a sound, rational decision with racks like this that score well enough or fish well enough when you have to pick between the two, because it's really a matter of blowing up the rack or making a very obvious fish. And I would imagine he's probably going to lean towards the fish.
It's really easy to feel like you deserve a bingo, and therefore you're going to play for one and make sure you get one. And you have to put that bias out of your mind. If breaking up the rack is correct, then you must do it, even though it hurts.
Trouble is, I'm not seeing a play really that scores a lot that warrants breaking up a rack. I mean, you would look underneath and go up or goal or goat words that score well enough across with the E perhaps, but I'm not seeing anything that there at least is worth it, or something like Pale down alongside Vestals, but TEN.
I think something like Pale, E column, PAAIL might have to be it.
And yeah, as Jason's pointed out, the problem with fishing is that there really aren't any obvious places to play a bingler very much after this. Joel suggests Tapa and Goat as a solution to break up the rack and score well.
I'm not a fan of that, I have to say. LIN is kind of going nowhere, and the A hanging over the double word score. It's just a bit too easy to score cheaply off.
And then we offers back cheap scoring in a different way in the same spot with a P just above the double word score. Not necessary either, in my opinion.
I mean, if you're gonna play in that spot with an L word, I think just lep probably would be my choice. But I don't love it. PAIL, which I mentioned before, also gives away a big counterplay double word score before IS. So it's actually all a bit ugly. I wonder if you might consider playing it from 12A. Playing 5 tiles onto the S. Something like Plains. Yeah, really tough move.
And so early in the game,
It's tough. I mean, the strategy's not that difficult. You're trying to kind of massage your way to a comeback, but the psychology of the move makes it hard, actually.
Well, it's more the counter moves and balancing that what you have possible, I think, are the hard parts of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because basically every single play that isn't a fish is really straightforward in terms of finding balance.
Yeah.
But
Hard to make something that Nigel can't exploit. Yeah, lip has been suggested. You could do worse than that, given the back hooks, and Lip also plays vertically hooking TAE, although that's kind of counterproductive without holding the S in the lead. Suggestion of leap, L-E-A-P. Did you make that before?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I hadn't looked at that, but since it's come up in the chat as well, that's very plausible actually, giving the T hook.
The concern I had with that was just the P above the double word score, and just offering a cheap at least 20 points without much effort. But given that there's lots of bad options here, it may be one of the better of the bad options.
At least you're creating a bingo line for your leave, so the play actually matches the leave. It's hard to compare moves of very different characters, and that's what you have to do on a play like this as well. So for me, it's always an instinctive heuristic that kicks in, and I just play what I'm most comfortable with, which is actually a very, it sounds like a trivial thing to say, because it sounds like you might be playing to your own biases or disregarding the maths or whatever, but actually if you have enough expertise to know that you're evaluating moves that are very close, then playing the move that you're psychologically comfortable with can actually be very important.
Yeah, Jason Pats Brown is saying he likes left and goal and B. It's a pretty nice move with anti-left over, holding on to the T to hook it to make left.
So there's actually a ton of candidate moves here as well. It's no wonder that Jesse's taking time on it. I think this is definitely a good move to take time over. He's got to watch it though. I mean, Jesse, like Mark, is prone to run into time trouble. Nigel's so rapid.
So it looks like he has opted for the one-tile fish of P, keeping Tenail on his rack.
A one-tile fish.
Well, that's what I was saying. The one-tile fish, you would have to open something up if you were to do it. I'm still not sure what I would do here personally. I haven't made my mind up, but looks like he's decided that fishing was better. But he's picked up a second N.
Well, I certainly applaud him for committing to a strategy rather than playing an in-between move. Personally, the one-tile fish is not to my taste in that position. It can go too badly wrong with too many draws.
And Nigel's played Nowie. B-E-N and N-E-O-W-Y.
There are just too many high distribution tiles that don't make a 7 with that 6-tile cape, and he's drawn one of them with the N.
But innately goes down.
Yeah, it does too. So he's really caught a break there.
Oh, we're joined, Natalie, hello, I see you have joined us in chat here. I don't think I've seen you for a little bit of time today. Welcome to our broadcast.
If I'm not mistaken, that takes a P front hook. I'm just going to check that. It does. And that P front hook is sitting
in a very juicy spot.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Is Pinately American? If it is, then we can assume Jesse knows it.
That's a good question.
If it's British, I think we can probably assume he doesn't.
Yeah, that would be wrong. Pinately is North American.
Okay.
And Joel says that by Pinately is a word as well. Very nice.
No one's complimenting me on my 8-9 hook knowledge. Pretty tough crowd. So Jesse's pulled a blank, which is kind of cool. But I'm not sure that he bingos here. He may be forced to settle for Huia off of Nigel's hoagie. which you won't be too disconsolate about. I think.
Scores well, balances well. Why not? Eupepsia. Does that play?
Where's it going?
Yeah, right there. The P would need to be one more to the left. Yeah, that would be very nice if it were open. Nice, fine, taquito. So Cats Brown is Simly position, says Lep wins the sim by 2.5 over Pale and then 8 points over PE. There you go.
Cool. I actually think I might well have ended up playing Plains at 12A, but it might be a case of overthinking.
I still haven't made my mind up. That's
it was a seriously tough move.
Now knowing that Lep sims like that, it's good to know for future reference on a position like this what Crackle favors. I'm still just not sure what I do personally, and yeah, very instructive move for sure.
Are there any other serious options on the table here other than HUIA?
Well, there's a Tui through the T and innately if you want to really go for balance. It doesn't score as much as Huia, but
that's the kind of thing Nigel did when he deliberately turned down a bingo to keep 2 9-timers open with a massively good lead.
Yeah, well, that's the only one I could see besides this just being an option due to the better lead, but certainly not as many points as Huia.
It's a little bit tempting, Etui. Not gonna lie.
I would prefer it, come to think of it, because of the hook on PE for bonuses that he has a blank, so he can still make the blank in over an A, but he doesn't have to and does less work bonusing on the left, hooking P if he has nothing else to play otherwise. So.
And we see that Jesse's already used more than half his game time. Nigel's used under 4 minutes of his.
Typical.
But Jesse had some real stuff to think about.
That's to be fair, certainly.
Yeah. It might be. There's a case, I think, for ETUI, or certainly defensible, but I don't think I could talk myself into it over the board. I think Huia would be what I'd do.
And then another option suggested at K8 is I2.
Too cute for me.
Yeah, that's with another S and blank unseen. I'm saying no to that one.
He seems to think it's worth some time though. Maybe he's looking for a bingo. I think he should hurry up. I'm already getting worried that he's going to run into time trouble here.
Yep.
Come on, Jesse, just either play Huia or don't. Looks like he's not. Is he playing Uvia?
Oh, there he goes for A2E. Yeah, I think I would have actually pulled the trigger on that in the end, as hard as it is to turn points down.
Can't say I would have. But I wish him very well with it.
Yeah, Natalie, I think Huia likely would talk this him out, but I am aware of the limitations number-wise.
Sorry, Jesse. So Nigel's got some kind of handy options here with that C. You can play like Econd or Chord would be an effective way to close out the top. And both of those keep the Z back. Or if he wants to play the Z off as well, he can play something like Cozy, which it doesn't keep any kind of bad leave either.
It's also worth noting through the IN in Hoagie and innately there's Zinky for a decent number of points. But I don't know if you need to use the Z right away, because you could draw an E for Een and then ZE words.
But Nigel should certainly be inferring an extremely strong leave after Etui, not because of Etui itself, but because of the time Jesse took left. And with that inference, I would be very drawn to that O above all else. But I think Nigel's got several really strong plays there.
No shortage of options. Requetejecito. Cesar no entiendo. I don't know what you mean by that.
A lovely word, chimed, which I'd completely forgotten about,
Oh yeah.
has been stuck down by Nigel, so can't argue with that. Keeps Z, H and R back, I think, which, that's really, really nice ammunition, especially with that IN on the board. Gets an E and something else, he can get 50 points.
Wow.
And generally things are good for Nigel from his point of view after that.
So A2 wins the sim by 5 points over Huya and a win percentage by 3. Wow.
I'm still not playing it.
Cool. I would have expected it to lose, even though it was my choice. Thanks, JKB. Measures for Jesse Day through the S and Vestals. Nice play.
Yep, loses no time. Glad he didn't spend too long on that rack. Has Nigel got anywhere good for Hertz? Not that I can see. Nor does he have a 3-tile play from K5 using the Z.
You can bet he's going to consider making a play that allows him to save the Z and E for next turn if it is plausible.
That ING possibility is always tempting as well. So it doesn't extend out for a free go. He'd love to get rid of his duplicate R's.
He must have dropped a tile on the floor or something like that. E, B, F. Okay. So Jesse might be looking at playing Feu in that same spot at K5 if Nigel doesn't use it. Nigel plays Joe further up for points, so yeah, I would expect something like FEU from Jesse at K5 possibly.
Yeah, Nigel's probably looking at that K5 ING as a way to sort out his rack on the next turn, the GRR problems that he left himself with. Probably won't get that, so if he gets a colicky pick up here, he might be slowed down a little bit.
Nigel's got girl on his rack plus an ET, and girl, that is a problem, let me tell you.
Cool, I'm not going to try and emulate that.
I'll just have to teach you. You just have to girl. Roll out. Yeah, Nigel is in some trouble after that pickup. Jesse, as I suspected, is going for Feu. Putting himself in good shape here. Keeping up.
As good shape as you can be in when you're trailing.
Yeah.
Nigel can play greener.
Oh, and Jesse's got some nice 7s on his rack.
Cool.
Or 7, pardon
just
me.
the one.
Or Oinomels goes with the M.
Oh, cool.
I should have said bonuses, not 7s. So Loonies and Oinomels.
Does Loonies actually play?
Oh yeah, it doesn't quite fit there, so yeah, Oinomels is the one.
Meanwhile with Nigel, well, don't know what you guys think on the chat, but to me it looks like he's looking at basically face value play balance his rack. Greener is one option, something through the I at 08 is another option, and then there's the bottom left as well. I was going to say GIRR was a possibility.
And that's good news for Jesse, as he's going to get a bonus down. It looks like he's already put the letters down for that. Doesn't even bother turning the board around as he puts it down.
Wow, such panache. Could be a bit ominous here, the S floating with Nigel's keeper LERT could turn into a bingo.
Waiting with bated breath to see what he pulls out of the pool.
The old bated breath. It is very baited.
He's still got those R's and W, yeah.
That's a shocking pickup.
Nigel is R heavy.
Honestly, you dump GRR for 5 and you pick WRR. It's a cool game sometimes.
Yarr, that sucks.
I wonder if they'll just keep adding R's to G and
Well, something like Trow through the Owen Oinemels is a fairly high candidate in not very many options.
I think so. I mean, Nigel's facing a little bit of pressure here. 43 points down. Not fully comfortable since he doesn't have good options. So, yeah, a really good case for the just grabbing the points that he can get here.
And then actually, he plays Trow. Jesse has Catbrier on his rack as an option.
That's very cool.
And look at that, yeah. Joel Sherman has written that in the chat as well. That'll be pretty flashy if he finds that and puts it down.
Nigel's made his way to a 7-letter word, but not to any kind of home for it, I don't think.
With an E open in the right spot for Jesse, he'd also have the more common bacteria, but the play he's looking for here is Catbrier, certainly.
So just wait for Nigel's Aper and pin 8ly on the next turn.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that is there. Still with a comfortable amount of time in his clock, about 6.5 minutes.
Oh wait, how does he have Catbrier exactly?
Oh,
he does too. Yeah, sorry. Beg your pardon.
That's a tough find.
Yeah, no.
It's a little bit easier for me here in the booth, but over a board, I might well miss that.
Oh, me too.
And yeah, there you go. Scarab is
So the miss.
That's a high scoring.
Probably distracted by the bottom there.
Yeah.
The bottom row. I mean, I think that's an easily forgivable miss.
Yeah, that's a really tough spot.
Yeah, hugely tough.
Gabriel, we decided that we must be in round 28, given that Michael holds a tight schedule. We've had 19 games over the last 2 days, and we're on the second last round of today, so yeah, round 28.
So that is a bit of a let-off for Nigel, of course.
Jesse's drawn the blank as a result. You know, that's a good way to get rewarded.
Indeed.
Although there goes Aper from Nigel. Nice play.
So Nigel draws nil level. Yeah, Catbrier with the double A. It looked a bit less familiar to me than Catbrier with the E.
Let me check for you, Jason. I am not entirely sure.
Yeah, it's not in CSW 12.
It's new to both dictionaries.
Which explains why I don't know it.
Yeah, new to both dictionaries.
Yeah. I was trying to keep quiet because I was a little bit embarrassed that I hadn't heard of it. But now I'm out and proud.
Once in a while, I get to find some words that maybe you don't right away, but you're still the better word finder.
Cool, so this is actually now a really, really interesting position. Jesse Day basically has the advantage because of that blank. But his path to victory is not certain, and there's plenty of play here for Nigel, who has both scoring tiles and a bingo core, and there's the board's forked, there's bingo lines, or a 14 vertically, and it's the kind of position where one bingo is going to mean a lot. There's no guarantee that both players will bingo here. Nigel can score well with plays like Jodel at 11B without interfering with the lines, and at any moment either player could have to switch between attack and defense. Jesse's going to try and want to make sure he's got the bingo chance with two. I mean, my instinct in this position would be to keep the bingo lines open, play off the X and an I, and try and hit a bingo in two spots. That seems to be the standard line to me.
He's got to be really careful about how he plays those off, because if he doesn't make a play that infers that he's got the blank or is really clearly fishing, Nigel might play Jerd through the R in trowel and make DI in exchange to score and block that up, because we know he's very responsive to clear fishing plays based on what he's been doing on the top board.
Yep, true enough. And getting nervous for Jesse. Clock's running down. I hope he plays. I wonder about Ixia. Ixia row 3 is a possibility.
Walks. Interesting.
Wow, that's defensive. It sets up his own eye for some points down there, but...
and there's lots of eyes in the pool. Oh, is fixation there, Joel? I didn't even know.
I think it was. But I'm quite tired. Did you not have a T on his rack?
I thought he had a T on his rack, yeah. Yeah, he did.
So it's sort of a gamble that Nigel doesn't have an immediate bingo, and I omitted to take a detailed look at the pool on that play from Jesse, but maybe looking at it he thought there was a very low chance that Nigel did. In which case walks to take a 35-point lead with the blank looks pretty reasonable. Scoring insurance for the next play there as well.
So he's got Jerd lined up, as I thought, as a potential blocking response for any obvious fishing play, but Walks isn't quite so obvious. He might opt for something like you said, Jodo instead.
He may well feel that the blank is in the pool for him after Walks.
Because Walks does look like scared blocking, which may have been part of Jesse's tactics in choosing it.
So I'm curious to see if Nigel, say, does something up the top to try and get himself another bingo line to work with. Something like ejido. That's the word, right? No?
I believe it might be a Spanish word, so ejido.
Ejido.
Yes, that's
EF ejido. Although, I mean, that actually dumps the J somewhere that doesn't really work as a bingo line, but that general theme might be available.
Nigel's made a choice, hit the clock, opted for Joe to open the top area there, having nothing to hook underneath it at the moment.
But if he gets an A, then AL endings are possible. I think that's probably part of his thinking. Jesse's... I mean, he picked double I, didn't he? So not great. Dihedral.
Wow.
Oh no.
What a pick.
That is a great pick for Nigel, isn't it? I think there was only one A that he could have drawn. He probably saw two.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Crackle pool is updated yet, but you go, Jesse's played EO.
Ouch, ouch, ouch.
This is going to hurt in the morning.
So Dihedral, which Nigel, despite there being 6 in the bag, Nigel, I think, must play it. So Jesse's going to have to get a counter bingo with the blank to win this, and he's pulled the Q. Oh, this is a nightmare. So that miss of Catbriar, in hindsight, very costly. Let Nigel back in with the big balancing play of APA, and then playing for the AL and getting it. I mean, very, very nice play from Nigel to give himself winning chances. Not at all scared of what Jesse might have, just playing his own game, knowing that's what he needed to do to get the win. And it looks like he's got it, unless someone's going to correct us.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any way to deal with this in a way that'll let him win.
That's really brutal. Feeling for Jesse here.
That's a tough loss.
Oh, can't believe that pull from Nigel.
That's sick. And you can see what was left for him to pull after that. So it was basically the only things he could pull.
Pretty outrageous. But, you know, he played for it. I think giving himself that line was almost the only way he was going to win. Mm-hmm. So, you know, he took his only chance.
Well, some of the reasoning for that too was with Walk's play, if it were just a setup, then he would expect Jesse to play down there, so Joe just buys him some time on the top as well.
And Jesse's last minute ticking away. I don't suppose there's any way he can set up his cue for a huge score and overtake Nigel with an out in two. It looks very unlikely facing a 60-point deficit. It's going to be a QAID and...
I was looking briefly at just dropping the T next to the E in Oinamels, but Nigel has a U, so he could just block it with something, or the I underneath. Yeah, otherwise there really was nowhere else to set up for a huge score.
So, a jailbreak from Nigel there. What an interesting game. A really fascinating one to look at later, this one will be. I think we've seen some really well thought out choices from the players where they knew very well what their options were and that there were close moves. Etui leaps out at me as a candidate for looking at a bit more. Wox might be worth another look. What else? Maybe that's all. Oh, of course, the one-tailed fish, PE, which I think divided opinion. I got to learn Cadbriar, the other spelling. I always wondered why it wasn't good like that. And now it is. Nigel mercilessly plays his best play.
And 6 to capitalize on that last spot down there and go out, but this is a win for Nigel Richards, who snatches victory from the jaws of defeat. Great play there.
Yeah, it's a tough beat for Jesse. But he probably won't mind. I think a lot of us would be gutted after that.
Yeah.
Jesse will probably bounce back just fine.
He'll shake it off just fine. It's, quite a twist there. Cadbriar is not an easy spot. It's unfortunate that such a play has to decide a game like this, which was pretty well fought on both sides, but that is sometimes the difference, just one particular obscure word. So with that, we'll just bring up the standings page again quick, just so I can remember how this looks. Nigel and Jesse were... Jesse was a game ahead of the pack at 19, the sole person at 19, so Nigel is now at 19 as well, with more spread. And depending on what happens with David Eldar and Ayarinde Saidu, plus Mark Nyman, we'll see what's happening on top there. But Jesse's brief time in first place again has ended. Nigel is likely going to be the one in first. Actually, no, wasn't a huge match. It might be Eldar,
Could be Eldar.
but
It's
definitely
very tight, basically. Really, really tight. And we can tell you that the final game of the day that we'll have on table 1 is Jesse Day and Gomon.
Hey,
Cool.
we haven't seen Gomon up there for a while, if at all, this tournament. I can't remember.
I think we got him in round 4. Didn't we?
Yeah. So that'll be nice to see him back. He's made a nice run to the top tables again. So we're going to take a quick break here. I think it's 15 past, I think. Yeah, we have a lot of time here.
So yeah, it might be a little bit of a delay, guys, but we'll let you know when we're nearly ready. And hopefully some of you will stick around to join us for the final game.
So we're expecting to be back at 6:15 local time. It is 5:53 p.m. here, so about 20 minutes we'll be back for the final round of the day. Thanks for being with us. We'll be back soon.